The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome to another gorgeous day at the headquarters of Technical Trading and Investing, TFNN.com. Today we have just a nice day down in Florida, but the wind's blowing very hard out here. Just about every day on my way over here, I get to see, if anybody watches the Weather Channel, you always see the C-130, the white and red painted plane on, what do they call it? They call it Coast Guard Florida. Anyway, that show is actually filmed very close to the studios here, about half mile. In fact, I lived about 300 yards from the cutter, where the cutter is stationed down here in Clearwater. And they also have a airport called Clearwater Airport where the Coast Guard takes off from. So when you see those C-130s, I see them pretty much landing and taking off right around about 1:30 Eastern every day. They're coming in off the Gulf, and another one's going out shortly after, and they patrol most of the Gulf of Mexico. But if you ever watch that show, you might see me driving down the road in the background there sometimes. But anyway, we're going to have a good day today. We're looking at what might be described as the tiny reversal, and that is we had a nice little push out in the morning, and it's about 4 points higher on the S&P cash. We were down maybe 2 points lower out here. Volume is 2.1 billion shares as we start the show. Again, very light volume out here. We've seen some reversals in earnings. We're going to go through some of those. We've also have some movements in stock out here, and some down very strongly on earnings. A few up strongly on earnings, and we'll go through those yet today. Not a whole lot of news in the marketplace. Actually, just checking to see if anything else has been going on. See if there's anything out here. April gold closed down to almost $5, 16.4470 an ounce for April gold. March silver fell 14 cents to $30.88. March copper settled unchanged, $3.74 an ounce. As I'm looking through a lot of these, just not a lot of movement. Probably the biggest one is the selling of NBC Universal last night after the bell when it came through. More discussions of that. Just not a lot else happening out here. So we're going to go through the movers. Probably the one that interests me the most is Easy Chip. EZCH is the symbol for that one. And as we every day we look through, just a huge candle out here, and not uncommon for what we're seeing today. We're going to go through a few of these, but Easy Chip did have news out here, and just making one of these all-engulfing candles that just basically blowing out the bottom of the previous low, which was on August 10th last year, $27.02. Just blew through that on at least 6-7 times earnings out here. Again, when you see these kind of candles, doesn't mean that it's going to continue on. Almost always it means that there's going to be some level of consolidation, and then a retest of that $24 low we saw today. But just pretty horrific news out here. Beat on revenues, but basically they came out and said, what's happening out here, and that is nothing looks good in the future. Let's see what else we have out here. And always had FBN is another big mover out here as we look at that. Off both Easy Chop off about 20%. FBN, which is Furniture Brands International. A lot of these companies we've been talking about over the last few days that are in flooring, or in and around housing. Had some big runs. A lot of these are pulling back on the same kind of thing, just seeing the business not picking up very well, at least in the first quarter this year. Furniture Brands, which is down very strongly on almost 2 million shares when, a good 500,000 or 800,000 share day is a big day out here. 88 cents, probably back in that range of being lower. Dean's Foods is another big mover out here. Dean's Food is off at also 10%. Someone was asking about shorting, what was it yesterday? I'll have to think about it now. Whole Foods, WFM maybe? We'll look at it in just a second to see whether or not it got any movement from Dean's Food. Dean's Food symbol is a DF. This was a good one to be watching for volume. It did exactly what it was supposed to do, and that is it tried to get into the candle of October 22nd at $19.17. 9.2 million shares, got in it with 3.5 million shares and rolled over. Big gap down today. Volume, not that huge so far, but you're going against a 22 million share low on October 26th, the last time this thing blew out. A real personality stock. Pretty good chance this thing, I would imagine, next 3 days, test that $15.60 low. Again, there's 22 million shares that day, so good find that it's going to eventually work its way down to the October 11th, $14.28 low, 6.4 million shares. But certainly probably going to see that 1560 tested in the next few days. WFM, wasn't it? For Whole, Whole Foods. Not a lot of movement. Yesterday I said it was probably the time yesterday to go ahead and short it either in the next 24 hours if you were going to get it. Not a lot of volume on the pullback so far, but looks like this thing may be making its and starting its reversal out here. Let's see what else we have out here. On the pro side of the market out here, we've got LO. And that's a Lorillard. Nice little bounce out here today. But like a lot of these stocks with big volume and sometimes, in this case, no volume, breaking previous highs and pulling right back into that. Had kind of a nice blow-off early in the morning, only to be sold. Last major high on this one was November 23rd, $41.11. With 950,000 shares, going to have 3 or 4 times that, yet it is not holding above that 41.11 high very much. So got to be looking at stocks like this. What else do we have? WGC. Did I do it right? WCG. He said, as we continue looking at these tops. Okay. WellCare plans, WGC. This one looks like it's trying to run up and test its previous high from September 11th high of last year, 61.53, just under 1 million shares. You did get, within 90 cents of it today. But again, 1.6 million shares, and a lot of these selling off. But you do have at least volume pushing on a few of these. PLRB, PES. I wonder what this is, PES. Pioneer Energy Service had good earnings last night. PES is the symbol on that. Another one, though, had basically opened well, drove to a higher high today, got into the previous highs, and again, lots of volume, but pulling back rather significantly. So we're starting to see a lot of these stocks come up with a pattern, and that is take off with a lot of volume on earnings, only to be sold off the next day. We've been talking about Fossil for a while on these, and when you look at Fossil, that's exactly the kind of island reversal that most people are looking for, and that's exactly what you got yesterday. If you want a great example of these island reversals, in fact, I'll have to, if Steve Rhodes is in the office, I'm going to have to actually find him, because he loves these little island reversals. Anyway, that's exactly what you're looking for, sometimes called abandoned babies. It's a gap up on high volume, and then a gap down immediately within a day or two normally. but this is about the textbook version of it, FOSL. We bought puts on it in the newsletter, but I think this is a fairly decent long-term play in a reversal market, and this thing could get back down to that $62 level, maybe 66. A lot of room, at least even in the mid-75s, is this thing. I just can't believe people are going to go back to buying watches anytime soon. Other movers in the market, go ahead and update my charts here. Just a second, see what they're doing. We're seeing other stocks like that try to blow out these highs, but we will continue to see. Wanted to look at see what I had after the bell last night. See what we have out here. Buffalo Wild Wings, BW. Also earnings out last night. Again, these reversal patterns coming into the high volume gap downs. This is going to be our bread and butter, I think, over the next 60 days, as we see a lot of these stocks reverse out of these high volume down days. Even on the huge move that it had yesterday, pre-earnings announcement, it blew out after earnings. It came down on huge volumes on the 23rd of November, which was 2.5 million shares. So it came down on just monstrous volume. It's come back into that gap with 2.2 million shares yesterday. So you've got about 300,000 shares, but been trying to get back up into this gap, but not quite an island reversal, but certainly fairly close to that kind of pattern. Let's see what else do we have out here. Cliffs International, CLF. Another one of these that's gapped down to check out its brothers. It needs to get down just a little farther. It's headed for the December 4th low, $28.05. CLF is Cliff Naturals Corporation, and probably a little ominous for the market out here if Cliff, a natural, basically a basic resources play out here, is not doing well. Anyway, it's got $1.30 to go to test that December 4th low that had 10 million shares. We've already got 27 million shares out here today, so we continue to look at it. Another disaster du jour is Rate.com. This one is blowing out to its bottom. Of course, Bankrate is one of those web services that tries to give you the best rate available on a home loan. I think it's, Bankrate.com. It's had previous lows out here at about $10.27 and $10. 4.1 million shares out here today. It's certainly going to blow away a lot. You do have that 10 million share low that is being tested, so you're looking for a close back above that, but even today's gap probably going to take a while to digest. We'll be back in a minute. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, we've got Max from Houston. And how you doing today, Max?
I'm doing just fine, David. I have a quick question on KBH, KB Homes. I'm holding the March 20 options. And,
puts or calls?
The puts.
Okay.
And because I still think that those guys are overdone a little bit.
I think they
view?
are. Yes. I mean, unfortunately, when these things break, it's all or nothing. And unfortunately, they tend to what month options?
It's a March.
Okay,
so I have a month.
Yeah, you've got a month. Okay.
So, is your view still that the market is rolling over and potentially we're going to see some sort of a downdraft, within maybe a month or so? Or
I think we're within a couple of days. Either this thing's going to rally. I always look at the summation index, which is a advance and decliner oscillator. And normally the thing to do, if you go back and put that up against the S&P, is as long as it's going lower, you should be short, and as long as it's going higher, you should be long. And it's had about 7 days of pulling back so far, or 5 days, something like that, on the summation index. And as long as it is on that side, the chances are that this thing and this market's going to roll over. We're having more stocks close lower than close higher. And if you go through the earnings, there are a couple of big winners. yes, but almost all of them. Before I get into KBH, I'll do KBH first. But if you look at the stocks that popped, IBM, Amazon, Fossil, there's a few more that I'll probably go through today. They've all kind of just been short blow-off tops. And normally I just thought the market was going to roll over. But kindly, I've had to wait through some of these stocks to roll over. Just things like that, you wait a day and they're back and looking good again. So I wouldn't be too quick on the trigger being long or short. I think you might be able to make money on both sides right now. My guess, though, is that we've got a fairly long-term retracement coming just because everybody and their dog has decided to buy this one. They're just like Apple at the top. Eventually, you've got no one else to jump in, and I think we've got a market that's like that. We could see, I think, a retrace in the next 90 days back to, I don't know, 1350, 1325 on the S&P cash, and I don't think that would be any trouble at all.
Well, because like, for example, I'm looking at Intel today, and the volume is like nothing. In the last 3 days, it's been dropping and dropping and dropping. So, it's
certainly
boggles the mind.
Certainly the momentum traders have no momentum left. The volume on a lot of those stocks is just turning to dust. Now, will it pick up in the next few days? It could, but my guess is that we're seeing a lot of distribution in these stocks right before they blow up. And, in fact, we see a lot of market makers pushing stocks extremely heavily. In fact, I've got a couple of them that I'm short. That they're just pushing the living daylights out, and they're coming out and earnings after the bell. I'm going to be home clicking away. If any of these guys miss, I think I've got a good 10 or 20% in a lot of those stocks just lined up. But you're going to have to be quick on the trigger after the bell tonight.
I understand. Well, thank you for your time.
Anyway, let's get into KBH here real quick.
Okay.
And you could actually set up the ABC two different ways. But this has a 1-to-1 ABC setup. And if you go from the longer perspective of the June 4th low being the October 19th, $17.30 high being the B, and the retrace of November 15th at 1309 being the C point, gives you just a 1-to-1 of 23.93. So you could get a little bit higher out here if this thing just does a 1-to-1 ABC. Now, are you watching on Tiger TV?
I was earlier, but I can't do it from my desk and be on the phone at the same time.
That's fine. You can watch it.
I'll watch the archive.
Yeah. What I was going to show is the first move off the low. In fact, this is probably a good thing because I've been working on some videos for some stuff we're doing here at TFNN. I'll bring it in. Just make sure and watch the show tomorrow. But I did some spreadsheets on how the way money comes in and out of the market, and how my power law vector indicator fixes the changes in volume and price at the same time, so you see how much actual money is coming in and out. But while you've got a little bit farther to go, the energy in this last leg should be awful close to that first leg, and it is lighter out here. So I think if you got 23 out of this, is probably where I would have been short. But you're probably not bad. If it doesn't roll over in the next day, I'd go ahead and cover.
Okay. Fine. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye.
Just recently, on December 28th, Market Insight subscribers were advised to go long the QQQ, the NASDAQ 100 ETF, on December 28th at $63.91, and only 2 trading days later, after a huge jump in the market, Market Insight subscribers were advised to sell the QQQ at $66.64 for a $2.73 or 4.27% profit to start off 2013. At the same time, Tom O'Brien had advised his clients looking for a more leveraged trade that they could have initiated a position in the QLD, the ProShares Ultra QQQ ETF, and over the same 2 trading days, Market Insight subscribers were able to lock in a $4.48 profit or an 8.47% gain in just 1 trade. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during your free trial and pay nothing. Don't miss out on the next great trading opportunity in 2013. Act today. If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
We've got a lot of stocks that are moving and shaking out here, and one of them is Trulia. It's a recent IPO, and probably one of the few stocks out here that is breaking above its breakout zone. Again, not the kind of volume you like to see, but of course, this chart does not go back that far. Trulia, much like Zillow, if you're familiar with that, in the real estate market, and basically a website for matching buyers and sellers and information, that kind of stuff. Came out really good earnings today, up about 28% is what this shows. Closed around $24 yesterday, and had blowouts up to 30. And Zillow, I think, is after the bell tonight. Zillow has some accounting irregularities, so I'm wondering how that's going to react after the numbers tonight. Be very interested in looking at the details about that after the bell, but it's up 8% or so. It's pushed up a little higher. WSH up about 4%. Willis Group Holding Public Limited, another one of these back up, trying to fill its gaps. It also tried to get into that today and has done fairly well in reversing itself off of that. Basically, it's one of those things of I'll show you, if you show me yours, I'll show you mine. Unfortunately, turtle brought his head right back on in. The prairie dog brought his head right back into the burrow today on these, but you can see two previous highs out here, and really what we were going up against was 2.5 million shares on the July 27th high. You actually tried to go through that, and if you want a good example of a tweezers reversal signal, that September 14th high is a beautiful example of the reversal out here. Let's see, where's it? There we go. Let me get some volume back in here. Yeah, you had a, basically, that's exactly the textbook reversal pattern that you're looking for in a stock, and that is basically, they either call them tweezers, sometimes they're called railroad tracks. That's two fairly decent size price range bars, and basically just the opposite, higher low, and then a pullback the next day, and volume picked up. In this case, on that high, you had the September 4th high with 1.4 million shares. Excuse me. Yeah, you had the high that day. The previous day, you had 800,000 shares. You almost double that 1.5 million shares the next day. But if you're looking for tweezer tops, sometimes called railroad tracks, a good example of it right there. We're back into it today on that Willis Group Holdings, and basically pulled back fairly decently. What else do we have out here? Netgear, NTGR. This one, another one, basically in this trading zone, but very light volume. What we were looking for, if I can go back here and see it, is a repeated test of about $40 and a huge gap down that happened on, 1.6 million shares? Yeah. And it's been trying to get back into that. That gap happened back on, let's see, what do we have here? February 8th of last year, as we get back into that low. But this thing came up, really even the best example was the April 26th high of last year with 1.7 million shares. Tried it with 330,000 shares on September 13th. Tried one more time with 340,000 shares on January 28th. It's done nothing but head on back down today. And we have Brent from Martinez, California. How you doing today, Brent?
I'm doing great, David. How about you?
Another day in paradise out here.
Same here.
Sherwin-Williams, you want to paint your house?
I want to short it, actually. I'm just looking at it. It seems to be getting up to its highs on fairly light volume.
Yeah, there's
considering doing some puts on it, but I just want to get your opinion.
When you get stocks like this that are just blow-off tops, sometimes you just have to grin and bear it. But there is one really nice pattern that I liked very well, and it's a book that costs $140. It's called the Double Repo Pattern. But you can, if you don't have the displaced moving average in your software, you can also use a 9-day moving average. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, and hopefully you'll be able to see it if you're watching on the Tiger TV. What you want to see in a nice reversal pattern is 10 to 15 days higher than that moving average, a 9-day or a 3x3 displaced moving average, a close below it, and then a close back above it. A close back below it would give you the signal to short it. So I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it hopefully a lot better. You've got this movement that started on the 31st of January when it went back above it. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 days. There's a little bit of play in some of these, but it's close enough on one side of the line to continue going up. You close below it for a few days like this, and then you go ahead and move back above it. The next break below that trend line, in fact, let's do it with a 9-day and see how that actually looks in comparison. Traditional moving average. Let's go with 9 days. Okay, it pretty much looks the same, except it actually was above and didn't break out on that. Are you watching on Tiger TV?
Unfortunately not. I'm on my phone. But I'm just doing without the video portion, just audio.
That's fine. You can look at it. I'm on channel 14, and you can go into this. But what you want to see is a lot of days on one side of a moving average like that, a dip below it, a dip back above it, and then normally the close back below that moving average is the time to pull the trigger. So you don't have that yet. One thing I like about the displaced moving average is it goes 3 days in the future. So you already know the numbers with a close below it that you'd go ahead and pull the trigger on that short. And it would be tomorrow, today's the 13th. It would be a close below 163.72 tomorrow would be a trigger. The next move out here, let's see if I can find it, would be 164.31 on Friday. And if you got to 164.68 and a close below that on Monday. So one of the nice things is that displaced moving average takes a 3-day average and moves it 3 days into the future. So you already know the numbers you have, and a close below those numbers is the trigger for you taking the short. So it's a kind of a good way on these stocks that are just keep going up and up and up to keep you from doing it. But normally what you'll get is just this. You'll get a close below it, and this time you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 days before it started moving back above the trend line, the 9-day trend line, and the 3x3. Then you look for a close below that line, and in this case, you already know the numbers. It's going to be, 163s and middle 164s on Monday. If it closes below that, that's your trigger. Go ahead and take your trade. Your stop would be 167.24 on anything more than 900,000 shares. But my guess with this is all these stocks are just screaming up here that they're ready for a reversal. So I like it, but what are you thinking? Buying puts on this, or are you going to try the equity?
I was going to do puts.
I was going to say on anything like this, especially with the VIX this low, a great time to be buying puts and calls out here. And is there earnings on this or anything coming up soon?
It's already behind us, which is great. So I have to, it's not something that's going to, be any kind of surprise, hopefully to the upside. So that already happened, I think, about a week or so ago.
Yeah, it says next April 15th. So it's what, like January 15th or something was earnings?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, you're good on this. You're doing fairly well. You already know the numbers, and if you catch the replay on Tiger TV, you'll see those numbers show up on the chart. But just do a 9-day moving average or a 3x3 displaced moving average. You look for 10 to 15 days above that line. You look for a couple of days underneath it, a couple of days back above it, and the next close below that line is a thing called the double repo pattern by Joe DiNapoli. And on these stocks that do this, not a bad signal. Another one, I don't know if you've ever used it, Parabolic SAR. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't. It's
another chart pattern. And this one, unfortunately, a lot of times I'm going to show this also on Tiger TV. It might be harder to see. I haven't had as much luck, but a good indicator that these things have broken, and this one is under that line. It is back over it. It's kind of the same kind of thing. You're going to see that 14, 15, 20 days all above it. Then you get, in this case, 8 days below it. Then you get 3 or 4 days above it. And then the next move below that. This, unfortunately, parabolic SAR lines mean that you have to, be short or wait for it to close below a 160. That's why I like the displaced moving average numbers a little bit better. They get you in with a little bit more room than waiting for the wheels to already fall off these things. But a parabolic SAR is a good indication when that cracks that the high is in. And you might check out that indicator, because this is the kind of market where these things, maybe you get to use them every year or two. They're not always out here in that kind of marketplace. But those patterns are good ones to know. Double repo, and you can probably Google Joe DiNapoli double repo pattern, and parabolic SAR, and 3x3 displaced moving average. But all those are great tools in this kind of chart.
All right, thank you very much, Davey.
You bet.
Have a great day, okay?
You bet. And let's get back to see what we've got going on out here. Let me close a few of these things here, and let's check back into the S&Ps real quick just to see if we've got anything going on. We are down now. We're starting to get at least a few symbols of a blow-off top in this market, several stocks. Oh, and what I wanted to talk about was stocks like IBM. I think we've kind of brought that up a little bit already. These things took off, gapped up, and are coming back into the gap. IBM, not a bad-looking chart. I wouldn't be shorting it here, but does show you that these things pretty much gave up a lot of their movement fairly quickly. Amazon, AMZN is another one where we saw the earnings blow out and gaps up in these stocks, and then you start seeing them moving down. Let's go back to the displaced moving average on that. So not a lot in that just yet, but we are going to look at some other ones. See after the bell, Trulio 1, Blue Nile. See what else we have out here. See how Orecus, Netgear, SAPE, S-A-P-E, came out last night. When we look at this, another one that kind of is blown up. Let me clear this up a little bit and get a slightly shorter high. Another one that blew up, Sapient Corporation, S-A-P-E, down strongly. What do we have here? 8.5%. Currently printing out $11.11. This is coming right back to its gap and on heavy volume. This thing looks like it's going to be driving right back down to the $10.02 low and $9.90 low we saw last year. The December 4th low, $10.02, and the November 7th low at 840,000 shares, $9.90. But this is why you always want to see these lows tested on lighter volume. When you actually look at these two, you can see that volume came in about 200,000 shares, or 20% higher than the previous low from November 2nd, and it's probably going to race its way back there. We've got a call from Victor in New Jersey. How you doing today, Victor?
Yeah, good. I'm looking for Clean, CLNE.
Okay.
What's going on with that stuff? Nancy Pelosi manipulating it, or what?
No, it's just it's Clean Fuels, and it was one of these that was the belle of the ball over the last couple of years, and it had its breakout top. Now it's going to probably go sideways, I would imagine, for a long time.
She owns a lot of stock in that. You know that.
I know she's very rich, and you want to hang through the break? We'll go through clean energy here.
All right.
Okay, we'll be back in just a minute with Victor from New Jersey, and we'll talk more about clean energy.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
If you could be granted one wish when it comes to trading and investing, what would it be? Would you like to learn how to make consistent profits on a continuous basis? I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN, and recently I discovered a trading pattern more powerful than anything I've ever experienced before. This pattern works on all instruments in all time frames, and on February 20th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., I'll teach you how to master this pattern and show you how if you began trading with $100,000 on September 14th, 2012, you could have created $35,000 in profits in 4 short months. This trading pattern will transform your life, and the live online webinar is available to subscribers of my Mastering Probability newsletter. And now is the perfect time to sign up. Plus, if you're not completely satisfied for any reason whatsoever, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee with absolutely nothing at risk. This is a decision you won't regret. 60 minutes that will change the way you trade forever. Sign up for Mastering Probability today at TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And as we go to the clean energies, we were talking with Victor. Of course, these guys put out filling stations for natural gas. But when you come off a high like this and down at the lows, it takes a while to consolidate. And normally what you want to see is a couple of legs coming back. Normally the first leg will be on stronger volume. Then you'll have kind of a bounce on weak volume. Then it'll come down on medium volume and then bounce up on lighter volume, and then eventually all the energy will just kind of come out of it and it'll base out for a little while. Then you want to see and look for a test of the previous lows. 1213 is kind of the support level on the stock, and we continue seeing this thing probably back into that 1213 level yet again. You know, you just want basically everybody to kind of give up and go away and look somewhere else, and then the kings of the street will come in, start accumulating it, and start moving it up. But we're certainly on the far right-hand side of the distribution scale, and we'll continue to see stocks like this continue to move down. The S&P is continuing to deteriorate a bit out here, so we'll have to see how the market closes today. But pretty much at least a one-day reversal out here. If you watch the movie 300, I always liked the movie, but the parable at the end was that if you could actually get the king of Persia to bleed, then they would not believe he was a god. And once he started bleeding, that was pretty much the end of it. Anyway, we're going to a caller, and it's Ollie from Washington State. How you doing today, Ollie?
It's Ozzy, by the way. How are you, David?
Pretty good. And you wanted to be looking...
David,
go ahead.
I was wondering if we can take a look at the two stocks audio code, AUDC, and Broadcom, BRCM.
Let's go look at Broadcom first of all. This one's doing a big asymmetrical triangle, and eventually this thing's going to break out. The first breakout is probably going to be a false breakout to the wrong side of the long term of this market. So you're probably, if you just put a big triangle starting on the March 27th high of 2012 and on the bottom on the December 19th, and just keep drawing a big long triangle where it gets to 3/4 of that point is normally where that thing is going to break out. About 70-75% of the time it's going to first break out to the wrong side, giving you a good chance to play it to the other side. Right now you just don't have anything to play. You've got lower highs and higher lows, so really don't have anything to put on that just yet. There just probably isn't a good play on it. Go ahead.
It does have a dividend, ex-dividend date today, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe that's why the stock is fluctuating.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much. It'll go ex-dividend and it'll come out tomorrow. But the long-term pattern on that, continues to be lower highs and higher lows, and eventually that's going to break out. And normally the first way it breaks out is a false breakout when you get that far along in one of those patterns. So
David, do you think this stock in a very short term, maybe a week, do you think that it may break out to the wrong side, which may be the upside, which may be like 36, 37?
It certainly can. Unfortunately, when there's that little of movement, it's really hard to start reading it. You know,
right.
you need it breaking highs on higher or lower volume, or in breaking lows on higher low, so you get some clues. Right now, you've got nothing. It's not giving you any clues to the upside. It's not giving you any clues to the downside. Audio Codes Limited. This thing is in the gap today, and it is not that bad, but it looks like it could be rolling over here also. AUDC. We'll try to look at this tomorrow. Thanks for the call, and we'll catch you all tomorrow.